Got an 18 U.S.C. 1983 lawsuit.
Okay.
Violation of rights under color of law. Because there is no law. You colored so far outside the lines, it's not funny.
All right.
What crime did you suspect my daughter of that you had to lay your hands on her? Why is she still... Are you still in handcuffs, Ursel?
Yes, I am, because I refuse to go with a man officer.
So why is my daughter still in handcuffs? What crime is she accused of committing?
Not going with a man officer.
That's not a crime. That's called self-preservation and protection.
Okay.
That's called self-defense. So if my daughter would have whacked you in the gonads, that would have been perfectly fine. And she was about ready to. We taught our daughter to stand up for her rights. We're both veterans.
I can appreciate that.
No, you can't. Because you're violating the Constitution as we speak.
Okay.
And have been within 10 minutes of arriving.
Okay.
And if y'all wanted to ask, I did have a pocket knife on me, and I disarmed myself and left it in the basket of my scooter before when I saw you sitting there.
Appreciate that.
It's technically not a weapon, it's a tool, but
That's our corporal right there.
Yes, sir.
Officer Hughes, a male officer, escalated on a 12-year-old minor because she refused to walk off with him alone. Officer Hughes here thinks it's okay to take women around out of sight, especially 12-year-old female children. That is totally pedo-creepo. My daughter felt as such and refused to go with him.
Okay.
So, what does he do? He puts his hands on her and handcuffs her for no crime.
Okay. Did he request that she move?
She wanted to have a parent present during any and all questioning,
Okay.
which she has the right to do. A right.
So,
Texas constitutional rights, parental rights. They are allowed here in the state of Texas. Officer Hughes seems to think that it don't matter if someone's 12 or 82 or 102. Rights don't matter.
okay. So, we do have cameras, and they are recording the whole time. So I understand that you said you did not feel comfortable with him alone with her.
No, she didn't.
She didn't?
I didn't say a word. I let her speak for herself.
Okay, I believe...
My
the
wife
remark-
let her speak for herself.
Okay, I believe the remark you said was pedo-creepo. So at no point...
In case this goes on to YouTube,
Okay.
I'm being careful of the language I am using.
Okay, well, these are not allowed to be turned off. So this records...
It doesn't matter. Cops every day commit crimes on their body cams, and it takes an act of Congress to hold them accountable.
Okay, so your complaint is that he put her in handcuffs.
My complaint is that he put hands on her to begin with,
Okay,
without a crime.
okay. Was he giving her a lawful order to do something?
No, he was not.
Officer Hughes, were you giving her an order to investigate a criminal offense?
Yes. I was trying to separate her for the security of the investigation.
What law is that?
Disobey
An
the
order? No. The law to separate for security. A minor has the right to be questioned in front of a parent or legal guardian or their attorney. She has an attorney.
Oh, okay.
And when I mentioned that to Officer Hughes and Officer Willis, they say it don't matter.
She's not being charged with a crime. We are merely investigating a disturbance that we were called here for.
Investigate, but investigation does not mean detainment and unlawful arrest.
If they are involved, we do have to question, yes.
How do they know she's involved with anything? Because
we do separate the parties when we speak to them. So that way one party can feel comfortable.
She is a minor. She could have gone with her mother if she wanted to. And as I was telling Officer Hughes, as I was speaking and saying,
Yes.
you know, she doesn't feel comfortable going with a male. If she would like to go with her mother,
Okay.
she can. Before we even had a chance to request her mother to come out, he was approaching her, going after her, and closed the gap and grabbed hold of her arm and started twisting it around her back.
Okay. So what would you like done now?
And total violations of the Eye Care Act.
Okay.
Y'all have not respected our citizens' rights or anything.
Okay.
You're in violation. He's in violation of policy.
Did the officers inform you on why they were here to begin with?
Investigating some physical altercation that didn't happen.
Okay, but we don't know that. When we come
So
in, we don't know
that
what
don't
the
mean
situation
shit.
is. Actually, it does, because we need to make sure that. the
Yeah,
thing
and
is safe.
we have the right not to say anything. You continue your investigation. You go back to the caller to get more details and to figure out what the hell's going on. You don't turn around and put a 12-year-old minor as a male cop in handcuffs.
Well, we are going to detain everybody involved until, like you said, we are able to talk to and speak to the person.
Oh,
who
so
did call
so
us.
you just think it's okay to unlawfully detain and arrest children
I don't believe
without a
it's
crime?
unlawful.
What law then? What law says you can separate like that?
Right now, we're not enforcing a criminal offense because we're still investigating.
Okay.
I understand and respect the fact that you don't.
So therefore, AKA suspicion.
You don't
Is
want
suspicion
to-
a misdemeanor, a felony,
We
is
don't
it a
know-
traffic violation?
we just
Then you
had-
don't have anything to put handcuffs on anyone.
We do have a detention.
What probable cause? What reasonable or takeable suspicion of a crime
I just.
to arrest her?
just-
She is currently under arrest over there.
You do not want me to speak. That's fine.
I want the sergeant.
Okay, then she can go ahead. That's not the sergeant. Our sergeant is coming. If you want to speak to her, that's fine. But as of right now, everybody's going to sit.
I'm tired of being harassed. And that's what happened with this so-called caller. It was a harassment.
Okay, so we don't know that. I've never met you. I don't think Mr. Hughes has ever met you. We don't even know the caller because we haven't even gotten to that point yet. But if somebody,
You should know the caller before you come out.
actually, we go to the immediate.
Oh,
scene
so,
if
oh,
there is a
okay.
disturbance.
Okay, so Austin PD believes in swatting people, basically.
No.
That's what you're doing. This is technically what you're doing, is swatting us.
Swatting means that people are using us to do that to other people.
Exactly.
That's not us doing it.
What?
We are going to respond to a disturbance.
So you
period.
believe that it's okay for people to be swatted?
No, I don't. And that's
Unlawful.
what I'm
Well, then what are you
saying.
doing? Then what are they doing? Showing up, putting handcuffs on my daughter, putting hands on my daughter with no lawful reason. Just because she didn't want to go off with a male officer. Wait a minute, there's a female officer on scene. She could have went with my daughter. But he refused to even, his ego got the better of him. And didn't want to switch out. That him talking to a male. Oh wait, I'm 6'2" and almost 400 pounds. And his ego, I can go after a female, but I'm not going to stand up to the male that's twice my size. Even though he's a disabled veteran. Because he's a chicken shit, he's a coward. So it's okay to go after my daughter. But you couldn't stand there and question me and be the one talking to me. Male to male.
So at this point, is it just the sergeant that you want to speak with?
Yeah, because I want to file a complaint on Hughes.
Well, perfect. You can talk to Sergeant Trunco, okay?
Because that is totally, I'd hate to be his girlfriend or wife or whatever, or significant other. Because that is totally roid raging. That is totally aggressiveness, escalation that was uncalled for. Literally, I sat there and said 3 times, she's a minor, before he put his hands on her the first time.
Okay.
So he already knew she was a minor and that she wanted a parent present. Which was obvious. She was even saying so. She didn't want to move from near where her parent was present, because I was sitting in my scooter right there.
Where is?
My wife is inside the RV.
Okay. Is she okay?
Because Yeah, we have a dog that likes to bark. She's not aggressive, but she's a brindle in color Tennessee Treeing Walker.
Okay.
Walking, or Tennessee Treeing brindle, which is sometimes mistaken for pit bulls because of the brindle coloring. And with officers like Hughes, who are such a coward, my wife is afraid that people like him might shoot our dog.
Okay, so she's in there with.
Even though she likes to bark, she could be somewhat protective, but she's mostly just a licker and a lover.
Okay, I think I heard her when I was coming out. The dog. So at this point, you just want to talk to the sergeant to make a formal complaint, and then.
And to have my daughter released because there's no crime here.
Have we even gotten to figure out what was going on?
I haven't, but Officer Willis may have. I don't know what she's done.
Okay, and then you said apparently somebody's calling harassing you.
Yes.
We know who the caller is.
I don't know. He said.
No, I'm saying.
Hughes has made two.
You said.
I saw a person on their phone hovering around, and it looked like if anything, they worked for CPI, CPS, whatever you want to call them, BCFS.
Okay, so have you encountered this before? People calling police on you?
Yes.
Okay. Is it the same thing, causing a disturbance? Is that what they say?
Oh, last time my wife yelled help because she requested help because of a bag split as she came back from Family Dollar. You know how they made the bags cheaper these days?
Yes.
And she had it overloaded. It was laundry day. She came back, the bag ripped. She yelled help. Somebody called the cops on us back in December, and we've had CPS up our ass ever since.
Okay.
Because Officer Giglio showed up and filed a false report.
Okay. So is that why the hesitation to talk to us today was?
Our rights are our rights to begin with.
Of course.
And my daughter, because of that shit and all the drama with that, because my wife, I have disabilities. My wife has disabilities. My wife has cancer. She's dying. She's on me and her are both on borrowed time to begin with.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Okay, my wife was supposed to have been dead before our daughter was even born. Okay, heck, or at least in a wheelchair. She's up and walking and everything else now. But she's been having a lot of trouble lately because the stress has been causing her tumors to spread. And she's had a couple of mini strokes recently.
Is there something that we should check on her today about because of all
No,
this?
she's already been seen.
Okay, because she was the one who called again.
Yes, my wife called because I requested her call because of what Officer Hughes did.
Okay.
I told her to call her attorney because I have an attorney, she has an attorney, our daughter has an attorney, Mr. Aaron Azell, for the existing case.
Okay, so what we can do...
And conveniently, this is before another court hearing on Monday.
Is that involving us, or...?
The December 27th incident that was dismissed without prejudice in February, but now they're trying to force us into services.
Okay.
They brought a separate case for forcing into services using the same stuff from December 27th. They've totally been violating due process and every other Texas state law and family court.
Okay.
But what do you expect for a judge that's only been on the bench for less than a year?
Well, as far as today goes, what we can do, you can file your formal complaint. We can get your information.
Oh, I will. I already got Officer Golden in trouble.
Information.
What is that, badge 8900?
And then you can follow up that way, okay? But as far as we will call the caller and see what it is that they were calling for. And do you believe that was the same person who called us the last time? Because we can check.
I don't know who called the first time.
And again, we will follow up on that, but once that is done and concluded.
As far as I know, it was Officer Golden himself and civvies that was going by that called the first time in December. Because at that point, I had already done an I had already done OPS report on him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd already done a report on him at that point.
Okay.
And it was all in the process of being transferred to IA at that time, and it did get to IA, and IA did investigate and found all because he failed to identify.
The officer.
Officer Golden, badge number 8900.
Okay.
Well, he didn't so much fail to identify as he treated it like me asking for his name and badge number was reason for him to draw down and shoot me because he considered it a personal threat.
Okay.
That was his exact words.
Okay.
He considers someone asking for his name and badge number a personal threat. I'm an ordained minister.
Okay.
If I ask for a name and badge number, you never know. If it's a good encounter, I might be praying that you have safe duty.
Well, it is
You'll say
our
shit.
policy to give it to you anyways, and that's why they're clearly displayed.
Yes, the Eye Care Act requires such things.
Okay. What is
which I
your-
have read the Austin Eye Care
What
Act.
is your last name?
I refuse to give it.
In order to do the complaint, I need your information so I can put it on the form so they can contact you.
Officer Hughes, go over.
We can go over there.
Because I don't want retaliation. There is a
That's fine.
huge fear of retaliation because of what's happened already.
I get your hesitation, sir. We can come over here if you're comfortable. You okay? Last name?
Miller.
First name?
Eric, Echo, Romeo, India, Charlie.
And then phone number?
It's already on record with OPA and IA.
Okay, I can't have access to those records.
If you put in 6822 Onion Creek Drive, they will pull this address. They will have the record,
Okay,
and that's all that counts.
that's fine. Mr. Miller, do you want to give me your birthday?
That's already part. It's already
It's on 6822 Onion Creek.
yes from a
and you said this-
from a prior call from the December 27th incident.
I will look that up. Do you know what that incident was labeled, titled? Disturbance, family disturbance.
I don't know what Gilio put in her report.
Okay, it was a
On-
female?
Officer Gilio, yes. Or Giglio if you want to do the southern version, but yeah.
Okay.
The New York version, the proper Italian pronunciation or Italian Greek pronunciation is Gilio.
Okay.
Giglio.
It was December 27th.
Was that incident.
then
And I refused to give her ID too. That's what part of the incident there.
We can
But
find her.
because of the whole, but it's all linked with the Bender incident and stuff like the original call for Bender.
Officer Bender?
Yeah.
Okay.
Back in November and or end of November, early December,
Okay.
when him and Golden pardon me, I forget whether it was Bender or Golden. The one that was badge number 8900.
Okay.
That part I remember right off the, and I have there was Golden and Bender were both in the patrol unit doing a double, together on patrol.
Okay.
If I remember right, Bender was driving and did all the talking.
Okay.
Golden was in the passenger seat sitting back trying to hide like he wasn't being seen.
Okay.
At the end of the interaction, which I think was a BS interaction to begin with, I asked for names and badge numbers for both of them. Bender gave me his, no problem. But to be honest, because it was unmemorable because he was, Bender's the name. I remember the name.
Yeah.
Just because of Futurama,
Okay.
the robot.
Yeah.
That part was mostly uneventful as far as I was concerned. The interaction wasn't even worth reporting because it could have been an unlawful interaction. It could have been
But it occurred here.
It occurred over here in this area,
Okay.
and but it was I didn't care who was right or who was wrong on the cause for the interaction.
Okay, and that's the one with Bender
and Golden.
Okay.
And that November, December, it was a cold, rainy night, and basically they made me walk out in the middle of the street barefoot.
Okay.
Literally they were pulled closer to the curb, and then they pulled out to the middle of the street
Oh. Okay.
in the cold, wet rain,
Mhm.
seeing a disabled veteran come walking out to them,
Oh. Okay.
which I thought was BS. But I didn't even report that much too much.
Yeah.
No, it was basically the attitude of Golden when I asked for
I know Bender. Yeah, I'm familiar.
Golden. They're both about the same age. They're both.
Okay.
I'm getting older. I'm 49. I just turned 49, but they both appeared in my mind's eye older than me.
Okay.
Okay. It's hard to, this is Texas. It's hard to
I
tell
think these
anymore.
guys all look
I mean,
like
my
babies
daughter
to
is
me.
12, and she looks like she's 18 almost because of her.
I would not have guessed 12. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
6/9, 2012, born in Syracuse,
they
New
all
York.
look like babies to me, so.
As you get older, they all look like.
Yes, they do. Yes, they
But
do.
anyways,
November, you didn't feel, it wasn't too memorable? You not really?
the interaction was who was right, who was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Neither here nor there.
Okay.
Not actionable in any way.
Okay.
But at the end, I was polite. you know, like I said, who was right, who was wrong, didn't matter. And I asked for both of their names and badge numbers. Golden popped up with an attitude because he was like trying to hide, like he wasn't part of it. Don't know who, you know, I'm not here type of thing.
Okay.
You know, I mean, literally like this in the back, you know, back of his seat.
Yes.
Okay.
I've seen they do that.
You know, hiding behind, trying to hide behind the B pillar.
Okay.
Okay. I saw him. You know, I was like, and your name, name and badge number, officer? Officer Golden, 8900. Click, you turn on the red light, piss fast. I was like, what's your problem with giving your name and badge number? Well, I consider it a personal affront, a personal assault. You know, that if somebody asks for my name and badge number, there's going to be trouble.
Oh, okay.
That...
I remembered that.
Because that means someone asks for his name and badge number, that type of escalation, like what Hughes just did with my daughter, it's going to get somebody killed. That's why I had my wife call back to 911, even though they're out here, to make sure a supervisor was requested on scene.
She did. You, both of us, we both came out.
Because him putting his hands on my daughter, she's still over there in handcuffs.
Well, first we're kind of paying attention to you, and we're not even doing what we can.
That's how many officers, and one of them can at least take her out of cuffs. She's sitting over there nice and safe. There's how many officers around here, trust me, look at how big she is. She don't run, she waddles.
Okay.
Okay, she don't move fast.
Okay.
That's part of the reason why I was happy to finally get blessed with that scooter, is to help encourage her to go out here on the trails, getting her to walk about a mile a day and slowly increasing her.
Okay, well, how about this? I will have those female officers talk to her, figure out what's going on. We are going to make a phone call to see who called us and see what the deal with that person was, because they did say it was physical. Okay, so that's why we got here kind of quick.
I kicked at the ground by my daughter because there's a cat that when it was a kitten,
I think I saw that one.
When it was a kitten, we tried to take care of it and protect it from the elements, plus it's a dog park.
Okay.
You know, dogs and kitties, okay.
Okay, so you kicked like the ground and...
I kicked the ground next to my daughter.
Okay. Okay, maybe they
because she has been told multiple times to leave the cat alone. We took care of it. It decided it wanted to get out and get pregnant.
Okay.
And not catch mice that have found their way into our RV.
And bring out babies.
And we're trying to encourage the cat to move on, go find somewhere else to live.
Okay. Okay.
But my daughter keeps...
So that's what happened was the...
I yelled at my daughter for holding the cat.
Okay. And had we...
And lying to me about it. I mean, literally, I come around, did you just have the cat? Were you just messing with it? No.